Captain on bridge.
Sorry, I'm not Alicia. I just don't know how to edit and make that intro screen open up to here. In any case, hi, I'm Nika and I've been playing Honkai for a very long time, and you're probably here because you're interested in trying out the game due to Honkai Star Rail crossover, you're interested in starting the game in general, or you just want to hear me yap about Honkai Impact lore, and all of those are great reasons. Um, Before I start, if you like the video, please give it a like, consider following me here or on Twitch, as we do have a Honkai cosplay goal, and we'd like to reach that goal. And we're also doing a giveaway at 300 Twitch followers for either a monthly card in Honkai Impact, Genshin, or Honkai Star Rail. Whichever one you choose, they're all fine. The game can be really daunting. There's a lot of lore. You've probably heard that there's a lot of mangas, little shorts. There's a lot. There's a lot, and it can be really daunting. I remember when I first started playing the game, I came during the Genshin Impact crossover. I actually came before that. As soon as I heard the Genshin crossover was happening, I came straight to this game, and it was really confusing. Sometimes I wanted to quit the game, but I didn't. I kept with it, and it ended up being my favorite game ever. It's not the most popular Honkai Impact game, or sorry, not Honkai Impact. It's not the most popular Honkai game, but it is a really beautiful game. There's so much story. If you like good stories, this is a really good story. The story of Kiana, Mei, Bronya, the part 2 story is also really good. And I hope that you guys give the game a chance and you guys can see how beautiful I think it is and so many other players think it is. That makes me want to tear up a bit. I really love it. There's almost 8 years of love that players, developers, anyone has poured into this game. And like I said, I didn't start at the beginning. I started when I heard there was a Genshin Impact collab, so I'm not one of the people who's been there for 8 years. But I did fall in love with the game really quickly, and I really hope that you guys enjoy the game and I make it a little less daunting for you. I'm gonna start with giving you guys the lore that you need to know before you play chapters 1 and 2, or if you already played it, this is the lore that you would learn before chapters 1 and 2 if you'd read the manga. And hopefully I explained it pretty well. I went through the manga and basically tried to summarize it and put it into a little story for you guys. We have fan-made movies, we have yearly shorts. Those aren't canon, but they are really great, so I do encourage you watch those. And some of them could make you cry, some of them will make you laugh. We have Cooking with Valkyries, those are also really great. And yeah, they're amazing. There's really no other word that I can come up with to explain that. This is a story about love, and it will end with love. Welcome to Honkai Impact, by the way, and I hope that you enjoy the game as much as I do. In Honkai Impact, our main villain is the Honkai itself, and the Honkai comes in many forms. We have the most notable one that you might know before starting the game, Hershers. We have Honkai beasts, and we have people that can get Honkai sickness and they become zombies, and we have more things there. You're gonna notice that there aren't any playable men in the game. Sorry about that, unless you count Adam and APHO, because you can play as him as playable, but in the actual game itself there are no playable men. Don't let that stop you from experiencing the story or playing the story, though. We do have some great men in the story, like Siegfried, Welt, Otto, Apocalypse, if you like him. He's kind of a villain though, so that depends on you. The main characters in our game though, we have Kiara, Bronya, and Mei. They're going to be our main trio for part 1. In part 2 we have other characters, but for now this is who you need to know. I'm gonna be explaining the manga lore before chapters 1 and 2, so this is what you need to know before that if you want to play, or you could play it afterwards, but maybe you wouldn't really understand where you're jumping into the story. So I got a lot of this lore from Hoyo Stance. It's a website that compiles, I guess, mangas, the timeline, everything like that. I will put that down below, and you can go check that out. They're a really great website if you want to like get into the lore, and if you want to read the mangas yourself. There are some mangas that I won't be talking about here, mainly because they don't really have to do with the story, and some of them I'm afraid I'd get in trouble with YouTube if I covered them. So you go do that one yourself. There's one about hot springs, and you'll know what I'm talking about there. So we're going to talk about the first 6 chapters of the manga Escape From Nagazora, which is what you're going to need, and it'll help you understand what happens before we meet our trio in the game for the first time. We're starting in the year 2014 by meeting the beautiful, amazing red-headed queen, that is Murata Himeko. You've probably met her in Honkai Star Rail, where she loves coffee, but in our game, she loves alcohol. She's an amazing Valkyrie, and she is a teacher who really wants to stop being single. So when we're first introduced to her in the manga, she is on a date that sadly gets interrupted by needing to leave so that she can deal with a large Honkai eruption that has just occurred in Nagazora, Japan. So in Nagazora, the people have become zombies, and there are Honkai beasts emerging, and that's when we first meet our trio. So we jump over there. We have Kiana, Mei, Bronya, and they've just met, and they're fighting zombies and different Honkai beasts. Kiana and Bronya, you'll see there, they like to argue kind of like siblings, which you'll learn more in the game, and you'll see that in the game. And you'll also see that Kiana really loves Mei, which you'll also see more in the game. In the manga, she quite literally licks Mei's wounds and says that she'd give her life to protect Mei. Later on, after fighting these zombies and Honkai beasts, they're hiding out from the Honkai beasts, and they suddenly get attacked, and Mei gets really worried that Bronya's hurt. Kiana gets close to her and tells her if she keeps worrying about Bronya, she might get jealous, and in that moment, she collapses on Mei as her back gets slashed by a Honkai beast. Because of this, it terrifies Mei, which allows her to awaken as the Hersher of Thunder due to her desire to save Kiana right in time for Himeko to arrive. So that starts a huge battle between Himeko on the Hyperion ship, where you're going to enter the game, and trying to destroy Hersher Mei through the airship because Valkyries fight the Honkai, and Hersher Mei is trying to destroy them back. We then jump to a meeting with Shiksal. Shiksal is an organization that fights the Honkai. We will have 2 organizations, but this is the first one. We'll learn about the other one a little bit later. And she's in charge of the Shiksal Valkyries in this area. So when we meet Teresa Apocalypse, or Teritari, as you know, she informs us that this is the first Hersher in 14 years, and that it seems like the end of the world has just begun. Back to Himeko, we see the battle has become more serious. She's going to change into her newly developed battlesuit made to boost her capabilities and help her capture and defeat Mei in a steamy scene that I don't think I can show on YouTube. But if you want to see it, it is in the end of chapter 3 and the beginning of chapter 4. Himeko then faces Hersher Mei on her own before she was inside of the Hyperion, like I said. And she lets us know that she won't die until she finds herself a nice guy, which is calling back to the fact that Himeko really wants someone to date. Now we begin chapter 5, which takes place 3 days after the battle in Teresa's office, I guess you could say. Himeko is telling us that she's still sore, but she's thankfully still alive after taking a direct hit from Mei, thanks to the prototype battlesuit. But the battlesuit did overload, which causes Teresa to get upset with Himeko. And Himeko makes a joke about how Teresa's so short she can't see her, and we can kind of see that they have a closer relationship than just like boss and their employee, I guess you could say. She then gives top secret data to Teresa that she hid in between her chest, and Teresa gets annoyed about this because If you've seen Teresa, you'd know. And so then we retell the story about what happened in the end of chapter 4 that we didn't get to see. Himeko's battle suit is overloaded and is about to shut down in 10 seconds. May is surprised that Himeko was able to last so long in battle, and Kiana regains consciousness in May's arms, telling her to stop. May is surprised that Kiana's still alive and says that she'll deal with Kiana after dealing with Himeko, but Kiana starts to tear May's wings, telling her to give May back, surprising May as she didn't think anyone would be able to tear her wings. She tells Kiana that this is the second time she defeats her and gives control back to May. We then jump back to Himeko, and she's surprised that Kiana was able to stop May because she's human, and a human shouldn't be able to face pure Honkai energy head on, which would be May's wings. Teresa says it's because Kiana is very special and the Castellana fates seem to be intertwined with Honkai, and she didn't really think she'd see Kiana again after all this time. And then we get to see Kiana's background. If you don't feel like reading this, all we really know is that Kiana's file shows she's 16, May's file reveals she's 17 from Nagazora, Japan. Her mother died of cancer a year after she was born. Her father is the head of the corporation called ME Corp and was arrested the year prior for fraud. We also learned that she was only 6 years old when she was abducted by a terrorist organization and afterwards went through a 3-year trauma treatment under her father's corporation. We also learn about Anti-Entropy. This is the other organization that fights the Honkai, and they are Shixal's enemies, and they are also the backers of ME Corp. Himeko is surprised that they didn't rush there due to May being a Hersher. We also learned that May and Kiana are the only survivors of the Nagazora incident, until they find Bronya snuck onto the ship. We then go to chapter 6. Chapter 6 goes 6 years into the past. Kiana's father Siegfried is tending to Kiana's wounded leg at home after it's almost hacked off by a Honkai beast in battle. She's asking her father, why are they helping the village when it has nothing to do with them, and who would protect them if they were protecting the village? Siegfried asks if her Castellana blood rises when she sees people in trouble and says he'll protect her from danger, as it is a dad's job to protect his little girl. Kiana makes a pinky promise to that, and she wakes up from her dream of the past in a recovery room with Teresa, staring at her pinky until she realizes where she is, and then she rudely asks Teresa, where is she? Teresa gets annoyed by being disrespected and uses her weapon that you will find in game, Oath of Judah. So it's a real weapon, you can pull for it. It's a pretty special weapon. It is one of the divine keys, and she uses it to tie up Kiana and tell her that she's in charge of the Far East branch of Shixal and threatens to tell on her to her father. So we know that Kiana doesn't know where her father is, and she demands that Teresa tell her. Teresa tells her that she's gonna die trying to find her father due to her lack of combat skills, and to think of May, because if the Hersher comes out again, she won't be able to stop it. And she proposes that she join the St. Freya High School, which is a school that trains women to become cute Valkyries, capable of fighting entire armies alone. And she also lets us know that May and Bronya have already accepted this offer. We jump back to one day ago where May learns Kiana is in stable condition, and she tells Himeko she can do whatever she wants to her. She believes that killing her, if Himeko would kill her, right, would be the best option, as the Hersher inside of her threatens humanity. Himeko then slaps her and tells her that her job is to fight the Honkai, not to kill girls, and instead of dying, she should give her body to Himeko so that Himeko can shape her into a warrior who can control the Honkai inside of her. But we know that May is scared of the Hersher awakening again, so her and Himeko agree to put a bomb right next to her heart, and that bomb will go off if her Hersher levels ever exceed the limit that they set there. We go back to Kiana. Kiana says that she'll agree if she gets to see May first, as she doesn't believe girls who go straight to bondage, play on the first date, are honest. Teresa is a bit concerned at what Kiana reads in her free time, but she lets her know that she's known Kiana since she was a baby, despite how young she looks, and agrees to take Kiana to see May at Himeko's house. We cut to Himeko's messy house where she's making May and Bronya help her clean, and Kiana arrives. May jumps right into Kiana's arms, and Teresa tells Kiana if she joins St. Freya and becomes an A-rank Valkyrie, she'll tell her where to find her father. So Kiana accepts and says she'll cosplay into whatever Teresa wants, as long as it's not bondage. And that's our story back in 2014. The story is now going to jump to 2016, and that is where you're going to start the game. So now you, the player, get to start the game and enjoy chapters 1 and 2 of Honkai Impact. If you liked it, let me know, and I'll make the next manga video and explain more of the lore. But it might take a while. One of the mangas is more than 90 chapters, so it's long. But yeah, I hope you like it. I hope it made it a little easier and a little less daunting. And I also hope that you really enjoy Honkai Impact, and I hope you give it a chance before the Honkai Star Rail event. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you love Honkai, and